I'm going to say what I've always understood. I am convinced Donald Trump is a traitor. He's a traitor. And I understand that people don't want to say that because of the consequences and what that means when someone is convicted of treason, what that means and where that comes from and how the outcome is and all of that jazz. But he's a traitor. I'm convinced of that. I understood it when he was running the first time for office. Ugh. He was running for the first time. And he was here in Florida. The moment I understood it is when he stood up in front of me on TV and said, Russia, if you're listening, release the 30,000 emails. The moment he said that shit, the moment, the moment he said that, I understood this man's a traitor. You don't tell people, you don't do no shit like that. What the fuck? And in that moment, the media was saying, oh, look at the outrageous thing that Donald Trump has said. Look at this great. No, he's a traitor. I understood it then. And now it's coming to fruition. We're seeing what he has done. Stealing top secret documents from the White House. And that's what he did. He stole them to confirm himself. And he had them in his possession for a year and a half. Something that we didn't know. We didn't know. The American people did not know that this man had top secret documents in his possession for a year and a half. And in that year and a half, he got $1 billion from somebody. They say the Saudi Arabian government, but he got it from somebody. We don't know, fish, fowl, or fauna, or whatever the hell. We don't know where he got it from. I would like to know where he got it from. And he wants to bullshit and talk about he got it because he's going to start up a media, social media company and all this shit. It was just silly. Silly. He got $1 billion from somebody, and we don't know where he got it from. And he had top secret documents in his possession. What did he promise them to get that $1 billion? What is he still promising them to get that $1 billion? What is he promising them? I want to know. Damn it, it's my right to know. Just like he thinks it's his right to have own those documents, my right to know what the fuck you trained him for. What are you doing? He's a fucking traitor. Let me say this. My father, James Petway, my uncle, his future brother-in-law, William Henry Willis Sr., was in Korea. Those two Negroes in the early 50s putting their bodies on the line for a country that was hostile to them. Hostile. And to see this jackass do what he's doing, no, we got issues. We got problems. We need to discuss some things. And it pissed me off of him standing there, running for office the first time. He's standing there with veterans, and they're shaking their heads when he's saying that the United States Army is so bad, it's so awful, the generals are so bad, it's so... What the fuck? His ass was supposed to go to Vietnam, but Pappy Trump got him off. Got him off by going to some dime store podiatrist and getting him saying that he had fucking bone spurs. So he got off. And in that moment, he said, oh, look at those suckers, those losers, those fucking suckers, those losers. He's been doing that shit for 50 years. Understand that. Doing that shit for 50 fucking years. He's a fucking traitor. And the veterans were standing there, shaking their heads. Yeah, and just like bobbleheads, saying, yeah, he's right. What the fuck? I wanted one of those veterans to just simply say to him, now see, bitch, I got this fucking hammer. I got this fucking hammer. If you say anything else bad about the United States Armed Services, I'm going to pop your fucking left knee, break your goddamn right shoulder, fuck your foot up. I'm just going to fuck you up. I was waiting for somebody to say that to this asshole. What the fuck? He's putting them down in front of their faces, and they're bobblehead shaking their head. What the fuck? What the fuck? He's a fucking traitor. And if he did this shit out of office, what the fuck did he do for 4 years? Talking to Putin on his encrypted phone. What the fuck was he doing there for 4 years? And we know he was giving up information when the Russian government came there the first time. We know he was giving up information then. That was in public. What the fuck was he doing in private? What the fuck was he doing? I don't understand. Well, I want him to go to jail, but he's Caucasian, so he's not going to jail. We know that. He's not going to jail. But I want his ass in jail. At least convicted. Maybe he'll get convicted. Maybe. Possibly. but he ain't going to jail. Now I want to know, because this is fucked up to watch this shit. And I think that everybody who has someone in the armed services needs to want to kick his ass. Really, who the fuck are you? I want to know. I want to know. Let me get this right. Let me start at the beginning. I'm gonna slow it down. In his first, we're told that when a president gets into office, our enemies like to test that president, see what that president is going to do. Okay. When he first got there, in the news, we were told that in northern Africa, I think it was in Chad somewhere, 3 servicemen were ambushed and murdered. And their bodies were brought back home, but they were still finding remains over there. They were still doing it, but they were ambushed and murdered by militant Muslim groups. There was another ambush that happened, not in the same area, but in northern Africa. It was a battalion, and there is a documentary about this. I forgot the freaking documentary. There's a documentary about this, that they too was in search of a leader, a militant Muslim leader in northern Africa, and they were sent here, there, and everywhere. But they too was ambushed and murdered. Okay. We were told that Donald Trump was always on his encrypted phone, talking to Russia, talking to the Kremlin, talking to Vladimir Putin. He's on the fucking phone with him. Now, we were told in the media that there was a conduit between the Russian government and the militant Muslim groups. There's a conduit. He was Arabian, of course. But there was a conduit between those two. Russia was paying the conduit money to pay the militant groups to murder men and women in the services out in the field. We were told that in the media. We were also told that the army, the Green Berets, they were ready and poised and set to put their hands on him to bring that man to custody. To bring him to custody. And they didn't. They when they got there, he had gone. He had absconded to Russia is where he went. He had absconded to Russia. And the thing is, he did it very, very quickly. He got out of there quick. How do we know he got out of there quick? Because he left 500,000 United States dollars in the dwelling that he was in. So he hauled ass. He didn't have time to take it with him. He didn't have time to use it. He didn't have time to pay anybody. 500,000 United States dollars in that dwelling when they got there and found that in the thing. We were told in the media that sporadically, oftentimes, the Kremlin would send out press releases saying that Donald Trump and Vladimir had conversations. And the United States government didn't know about it. The White House, the White House didn't know about it. They didn't know that they was having conversations. How the fuck you don't know? So I want to know, did Donald Trump drop a dime on us? Did he do that? I want to fucking know. It may sound crazy. It may sound odd and nuts and conspiracy theory, but all that shit is true. And I want the media who has the people and the resources and the money and the time to look into that shit. I don't understand why they have not begun to connect dots and whatnot. Maybe because it was so much bullshit information he was giving out while he was in office. Just so much bullshit information. And nobody cared to connect the dots. But I want somebody to connect the fucking dots. Did that man drop a dime on the United States government? That fucking traitor. You keep hope alive.